the slow impact was great, but then after the slow impact, it's just like da, 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 da. It's almost like if you've seen JoJo's, how what you call the uda, 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 uda. It was like, I mean, he was going to work with the shoe.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Life with Anime Podcast, where you come to be entertained, find some escape and relief, and we talk about the impact that anime has on our lives. We are your hosts, Family Man Joe.
And Mr. Music Major, how y'all doing?
What's good? What's good? How you doing today, P? You straight? You good today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Stressful day.
Yeah.
Work. But other than that, man, it's been a good day. I can't complain.
I feel you. My kiddos today were a rough one today. My little princess was being a little not so much a princess today, just to put it in that way.
Not little Rose.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she was she's having a rough day. She's had a rough couple days in a row, but that just comes with the territory of being a dad, I guess. So it was went to the park. They had fun, got some energy out, and now they're sleeping. So we'll leave it. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
You don't talk about little Rose like that.
No, man, listen, that's my princess, bro. That's my princess.
Oh, I know.
That's my ride or die right there. But she was tripping today. She was definitely tripping today. Real quick, before we get started, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you already have it. Make sure you hit that notification bell so every time we post an episode at 10 a.m. Eastern on Fridays, you guys get the notification and you get to watch it first before everybody else, and you guys are ready to go. If you listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, RSS feed, whatever it is, make sure you guys go ahead and follow and leave a nice 5-star rating in any comment, or even if it's not a nice comment, you got something mean to say, some hate to say, whatever. Like we takes all. We takes all. And then obviously follow us on Instagram if you haven't already at Life with Anime Podcast, as well as on TikTok with the same. All right, we're gonna add a little mini segment in here, and try to do this more often as we can. When things, obviously not forcing it, but when things come up, definitely want to throw us in there. Obviously, we call ourselves Life with Anime, talk about the impact the anime has, and we realize that we don't talk much about impact between me and P. Unless there's a guest with us and we ask them how anime has impacted them. I think we talked about it like the first maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and we realized that, and so we wanted to make sure that we were still doing that, because that is important to us, and obviously, anime does have an impact on us. So we watch it on a regular basis. We experience things, see things, connect with things, and I feel like a lot of you guys do as well. So maybe something that we connect with, you guys also connected with, or may even, pick up on something that we've said. So we definitely want to start doing that more often. We may not do it every episode, but we want to do it more often. So I'll go first. The new show Ninja Kamui is out. By the time this episode drops, probably be halfway through the first season, but right now it's March 1st, so there's only 3 episodes out as we're recording this.
I have not seen the 3rd episode. But
I haven't either.
Okay, because I checked for it last Saturday and I didn't see anything, so I was like, okay,
I've been slacking. I've been trying to watch it, but now on tomorrow when there's episode 4, I get to watch 2 episodes. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'm strategically giving myself a little extra because it is a really good show. It is a really good show. But man, I was thinking about it like a couple days ago, and it was like a week and a half after the first episode dropped, and I'm like thinking about how obviously this dude, was having a really good life, peaceful, quiet life with him, his wife, and his kiddo, obviously hiding from, the former agency that he was with, the organization that he was with. But, for the most part, had a happy life, was taking his kid out there, fixing the bike, riding the bike, going to the store, whatever, having fun with moms, had the kid's birthday. Just life seemed really peaceful. And I was thinking, and then obviously, right, ish hits the fan, and my boy loses his family. Family's dead, killed basically in front of his eyes. He has to watch that, which is, crazy. The way they did this show is phenomenal, bro. I'm loving it. But the way they did that, bro, it hit me like obviously the devastation this man felt, right? And like obviously he's got enough going on up here to know like obviously he took precautions to protect himself so that he can obviously then go on his revenge streak. I'm thinking to myself, obviously I'm not thinking I ain't done nothing for nobody to come in my house and wipe my family out. So, like that's not happening. But if I were to lose my family, if something were to happen, or if someone were to take my family, I know me, and I would constantly think of all the things that I didn't do that I wish I had done with my family. You know, like
Yeah,
I
that's
wish
good.
I spent more time with my kids doing this. I wish I paid more attention to them. I wish I was scrolling less on my phone. And when my daughter comes up to me and wants to watch her run around the yard outside and time her, like, I didn't say, I'm busy, give me a second or whatever. So it just really made me think about how I'm spending time with my family now and what I could be doing better to do that. I've always thought about that. Me and my wife have talked about it a bunch for the both of us, constantly sending each other stuff to kind of help us be better parents and be more cognizant of the time we spend with each other and with our kids. But like imagining losing my family, obviously when I'd shut down, I wouldn't even have the energy to go on a revenge tour if someone did kill
I was about to
everybody.
say, I feel like you would go on. I feel like you would go on a
I mean,
revenge tour.
if I had the skill set, then that's different. There's a whole
I mean,
different thing that goes into it.
I'd be there.
But I appreciate
We,
it.
you know,
I
we
appreciate it.
ride at dawn.
Hey, listen, what's up? Whose car we taking?
You know,
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Whose car we taking? But I don't want to ever be in a position or situation to where I look back and I'm like, damn, Joe, why didn't you do this or that with your wife and kids? That's what got me thinking. That's my anime impact for this episode. Shout out to Ninja Kamui for that. So
cool. Y'all know I love to like rewatch anime, and so
that he does. That
I'm
he does.
doing I'm doing a rewatch of My Hero Academia,
I need
and
to do that. I need to do that,
yo
P. I need to do that,
yo
bro. Like maybe not from the beginning, and maybe so, but like it's been so long since I've watched it or read it, so I need to do
yeah,
that too, bro.
and I need to get back into reading it too because I heard that it's still like going crazy over there
Bro,
on the manga side.
I'm sure.
Um, But no, I was saying, and I've said this before, but I always think, what if Deku like, gave up on his dream of becoming a hero, or what if he listened to like his classmates who said you'll never become a hero, and it got me to thinking, including with Deku, like 9 times out of 10, when things start to go awry in your life and sometimes you just can't make way of anything. You can't see your front from your back, your side to your side is when you're like closest to your breakthrough. Like Deku, like people were in his ear, people were yapping. He was starting to doubt himself. Other people were
Yeah.
starting to doubt him, and he was like this close to achieving like his ultimate dream. So for me, this year, and I can be a little bit transparent. This year and a half has been tumultuous for me. Is that a word? Tumultuous?
I believe that's a word. Yeah, I
Anyway,
believe
it's
that's a
been
word.
very heavy for me this year. And so I just have to believe that because my life is going absolutely crazy, that there has to be like the biggest blessing that is about to sit in, that is about to like plop in my lap. So yeah, that is anime, my anime impact.
Okay. Hey, I mean, honestly, P, that's real, bro. Like that's,
Yeah, right.
I'm sure we've all been there at times. I mean, obviously, I know a little bit more about what's going on in your situation, than the viewers, but I know a lot of people have been in times like that, and I can speak for myself. I know when I've been in those situations, and then I've gone past that and come out of it, and I look back years later, a year later, whatever it is, I'm like, dang. I forgot about I forgot that I went through all that. Like I made it out of that.
Yeah.
Like look where I am now compared to where I thought I never was gonna get out of. You know what I'm saying? And how much I've grown from that, or
Yeah.
whatever good has come from those situations. So yeah, man, that's real
Yeah.
for
Like
real.
I said, for me, it's really like the not giving up part.
Yeah.
Because, bruh, like I just have to believe in again. Like I love Jesus. Y'all gonna get that
Yeah,
from time to
we
time.
we love Jesus around here.
Yeah, but
We love
no, I
Jesus around
just
here.
I have to believe like that God is like grinding me out and like chiseling away at some things that like when like my blessing comes through, like for Deku, like when he finally like got his blessing and like All Might came over and was like, "Hey yo, I got you." I feel like Jesus is about to be like, "Hey yo, I got you." Like this was not for nothing. So yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But all right. Well, cool. That's that. That was a quick little mini segment. Anime Impact segment for us. Again, we want to try to do that more often as we can without forcing it. Like P obviously was rewatching, and Ninja Kami's new, so some things came up this week. But yeah, we're switching up a little bit here. We've kind of did this before last season with Hell's Paradise.
Was that episode 2?
That was like episode 2 or 3. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, and then obviously we never finished it, which we apologize. If y'all want that, let us know. We can go back and try to revisit it.
It was one of our highest watch shows.
It was.
Episodes.
It was. So maybe we need to, or maybe this is the new and improved version of that, and we're taking it off. But basically, what we're gonna do, me and P went through a list of shows that one we thought were popular, two that were popular on Crunchyroll. Honestly, is more what it was. We went through Crunchyroll's popular list, and also shows that we've kind of heard of. 3 shows that me and P neither of us have watched. So these are both new watches for both of us, and we picked 2 shows, 2 different genres, to basically watch together, not together, but, watch and then come together and give our thoughts and opinions, kind of talk about what happened, our likes and dislikes on it, thoughts that we've had on it, basically, and just kind of give our opinions and digest of what we watched so far. So we picked 2 shows. We watched 6 episodes of each show. The first show is called Migi and Dali. The second show that we chose was High Card. And so we will discuss both Migi and Dali and High Card in this episode, the first 6 episodes, and then we'll revisit it again after we watch a couple more episodes. Migi and Dali will probably only get one more episode to talk about because it's only 12 or 13 episodes, whereas 13, whereas High Card is like 24 or something like that. So it'll get a couple more, which we'll get into it. We'll get into it. I got to get into it because I had some initial thoughts. I had some initial thoughts for you about High Card, and then I watched the next episode, and I was like, okay.
The episode like 5 doing for you? Yeah.
Bro. All right, so High Card. Get the premise on this show. It takes place in this island country called Tropla, 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 and it is divided into 4 different regions. Basically it's all takes place under this kingdom called Forland Kingdom, and it's divided into 4 different kingdoms: Spada, Silphium, Lozenge, I think this Lozenge, and Polo Stick. And basically each nation represents a different, at least it used to, not so much anymore. It used to represent a different suit, as we talk about High Card, so a card suit. So
Black Clover.
Spada.
I got so many references.
So Spada was spades, Silphium is heart, Lozenge is diamond, and Polo Stick is clubs. And to set it up, basically, we start we're basically in this kingdom at the castle of Forland, and it's attacked by the Klondike family, and they are attacking basically to get this suitcase of something. We have no clue what it is, but basically commotions ensuing, explosions going off here left and right. People are dying. We find dead bodies, and these people end up grabbing the suitcase and getting out of there as they're killing people as they're walking out. Someone then attacks the person who has the suitcase, and they're on a helicopter in the middle of the air. And as they get attacked, the suitcase flies open, and 52 cards go up into the air and scatter. And so this is where then the story kind of grows on. These 52 cards, each card has a different ability, which I'll get into it too, but each card has a different ability, and the cards kind of just scatter everywhere and end up kind of choosing who they want to attach themselves to. Some of it's just luck. Some of it's just like, we see some people who have a heart for something and they get attached to a card that has an ability that's very similar to them and how they feel and think. But bro, it's actually a really good.
And not
show.
to mention, just one last thing. So the lower cards are considered the weakest, and the higher cards are considered the stronger. So.
Exactly. So you get a 2 of spades, like our main character Finn, who's known to have it's technically a weak card, versus someone else in
my chick that got the ace.
Bro, she got an ace. It's crazy. So I guess let's progress to the story. And as we progress to the story, P, let's talk about the things that we liked and disliked. Okay. So episode 1, Again, we have the whole war situation and the scattering the cards. We then fast forward 1 month, so it's not like it takes place like years and years apart, but literally just fast forward 1 month, and we meet Finn, our MC. He's sitting in like a Times Square, City Square type situation, and he's basically scoping out some people. He's a pickpocket. Does this elaborate scheme to pickpocket some stuff, which dude is phenomenal. Like I don't want to be nowhere near Finn. But he's got really good eyes, and he actually turns out to have one of these cards. He's never used it, doesn't know anything about it. It just probably happened to plop in his lap. We don't really know yet exactly
Oh, which
how
I'm
Finn got
waiting
this
to
card.
figure that
Yeah,
out.
I'm curious
That's
because
gotta
also,
be.
yeah,
He's an orphan.
he's an orphan. So that's what we find
Okay.
out next. Finn's an orphan. He's a teenager. He's 17 years old, but obviously grew up in this orphanage. Later find out that Finn lost his memory a couple of years ago. Discovers found out he has amnesia. He got in a car accident. I believe his parents were in the car accident with him and died, but they weren't really clear about that. So long story short, Finn is walking around. He goes back to the orphanage and discovers that this is kind of setting up the premise of how he gets to where he got. I know it's kind of long. I apologize. But ends up finding out the orphanage is in debt and the landlord was ready to kick them out. And there's like 10 other little kids. Like Finn's like the big brother basically of all these little kids in the orphanage and then the guy that's running the orphanage. And so he decides he's going to test his luck and go to the casino. His card is giving him some luck apparently. He's like, this is his lucky card. So he's going to go to the casino. Ends up running into a player that basically has a card and steals all of Finn's luck, takes all of Finn's money, like earns a bunch of jackpots on slot machines. It's kind of crazy. And so like, all right, cool.
Yeah, because technically his card, I forgot, but it's called the lucky, like something lucky, to
Yeah.
where he just has like the best luck
Like,
imaginable. Like even like into the episode, it talks about like how this card is so special because the wielder of the card can kind of sort of like not be killed
yeah.
because the luck is so great for him.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but continue, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. So we discover that when they get called up into this room because they're winning too good, and so they're getting called up to the VIP room, which is the security basically like, yeah, nah, y'all doing too good. I'm about to beat the crap out of y'all and kick y'all out of my hotel, my casino.
Typical Vegas.
Typical Vegas stuff, right? Typical movie Vegas stuff. I'm actually curious if stuff like that happens
I
because
am.
because I'm like, it reminds me of the movie 21, which is a movie I
I
loved
love
it.
21. I
Yeah,
love
great
21.
movie, but then obviously you kind of see all that stuff play out. So I'm curious exactly how much that stuff happens. Because I've heard of people getting kicked out of casinos because they win too much, but I've never heard of anybody telling me like them getting beat up and then getting kicked out.
Yeah.
And so while we're in this room, we run into two other what they're called players basically. Anyone who has a card, they're called players. So two other players who have an ability. One dude is an absolute menace. I forget the marble. He's got basically this ability where anything he touches turns to marbles, and this dude literally is like taking people's heads off and then turning them into marbles, and then
Just
using the marbles everywhere, and then using the marbles as ammunition and like firing off. Like you get hit by this marble, you dead type. Like it's crazy. And there's another guy that comes in there and basically has the ability to these are calorie high or something like that. Basically, he's invincible when his card is activated, and so they go at it. Basically, Finn then steals the lucky card and leaves and gets caught by the guy
the
that
marble guy.
the marble guy. They fight it out. Finn wins the fight, and then the lucky guy basically kidnaps Finn. And so this is where we get to the story where basically there's these two organizations that are going back and forth at it, fighting for all of these cards. The first group organization is Klondike, which is the ones that went to steal the cards in the first place from the castle. And that's who the marble guy was a part of. And so obviously their boss wants as many cards as possible, really all the cards, all 52 cards. And then the other one is the Pinocchio family, I believe is what it is. And they are another organization. Basically, the Klondike is like the mafia, and the Pinocchio is just another organization. And we don't really know much about the Pinocchio family yet, but they got some ish going on too. And they also are trying to get all the cards, but they seem to be more the good guys than the bad guys, but we don't know. Finn gets captured by the Pinocchio family, and again, if I'm butchering this, I'm sorry. I will correct myself when in the edits, but gets captured by them and basically is like, hey, sorry, you're losing your cards. Like, your card is real. You discovered that your card is actually a card, so we're taking the card that you originally had, and the card that you stole, the lucky hand card, basically. And Finn's obviously not happy about this, upset. One of the guys that work for the Pinocchio family in the room gets a phone call, basically ends up talking to the boss and is like, all right, Finn's working for us now. Like, Finn has no choice but to work. If he wants to keep his card, he has to work for us. And it actually works out for Finn because now he can make money. He has a job. He was unemployed before. He was a pickpocket. And now can make money to then send to the orphanage, right? And so now that's basically how Finn joins this family, this organization, who has a luxury car store shop for a front, basically, for their organization and what they're trying to do to get all these cards.
Episode 1 pretty much sets the premise of what's going on. Episodes 2 through 4 just gives us like more detail about the characters, about his team, about how they.
That's the issue I had, and it took me a second to realize that.
Yeah,
because I'm like, bro, like, is this a Cowboy Bebop type vibe where it's episodic, like each episode's like its own little thing? Like, obviously the characters are connected and they kind of play off the previous stories, but like, I'm not getting no progression of story here.
I was there into episode 5. I was right there.
I was like, yo. And so, like, we get introduced to all the other characters basically in the group. There's a girl who has an ace, I believe it's Ace of Spades, and she grew up as her father was I guess a samurai technically, but basically had a dojo, a swordsmanship dojo. I don't know exactly what swordsmanship they practice, but had a dojo, and she was raised basically in that dojo to be a swordsman. But her card basically is so OP, like it basically ends up taking over her body, and is like the most badass swordsman chick
different
ever.
Name for her.
Yeah, they have. She's called Lap.
But she's called Lap.
I think the power of the card is called Love and Peace. So I think they just gave her the name of the card.
I guess what I'm saying though, they call her like when she's in like this quote unquote demon state. She has like a totally different personality.
Yes.
Like she is nothing like they know her separately from like her normal self.
Yeah, because she was the whole interactions they were having. They were talking like oh,
nice
it's been so long
you again.
It's been so long I've seen you. Yeah, I can't wait to cut you up again. Oh, my favorite dude. Like she loves the dude that's invincible because every time she cuts him, he can keep cutting because he's not dying. And so she's like, it's fun for her. We meet another guy who also works there that basically has like this ability to control vines and plants and stuff like that. We meet the president's son, who basically has the ability to utilize all the money in the surrounding area, and basically anything that he wants can pop up worth that value. So if there's $1 million and he needs a bazooka that costs $1 million, it pops up and he's like, boom, got it. Money disappears and uses bazooka, which I like. You need to be rich for that ability, which he is, but that's a dope ability.
First of all, like this has like Black Clover with the Spades Kingdom and the heart. Like number one,
which I get because it's playing off the suits of the cards, which Black Clover does that as well.
Besides that, this has Bungo straight
off. Yes.
All over.
Bro, it took me so long to get that, and then
episode 2, I was in.
I'm like, what is going on? But then, literally, we got to episode 5, where connections were starting to be made between everything going on. I was like, bro, this is Bungo.
I didn't get that in episode 2. I got that in episode 4 or 5 when I saw that it was the mafia. It was the police, and it was like the big. I was like, "This is Bungos."
Exactly. Like I made the connection because more context to the story. There's this cop. He's basically the police captain, and I forget his name, but he's police captain. But we find out in episode 5, I believe. Yeah, beginning of episode 5, he was childhood friends with
With
the
both of
head, with
them.
both heads, basically both heads of each family.
Yeah.
And that gave me Dazai vibes with Dazai,
Yeah.
the other dude from the Port Mafia, and the guy into being a cop. They all
Yeah.
were Port Mafia at one point, and then split off and did their own. Obviously, well, one died and then did their own thing, whatever. But that gave me Dazai and them at the bar vibes, because even then they were talking about the captain was like, "Can't we just have a drink together again?" type thing. It was like
Bruh.
literally took me back to the bar and
The
Bungo straight
bar, I
off.
was like,
It was
is
dope.
this Bongo? I think when I made that connection, it made me like the anime just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Those first like episodes 2 through 4, I was like, okay, I get what y'all are doing. Like, we gotta like pretty much introduce these characters, but I'm also trying to figure out what is the story here.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
finally, we get to
Episode 5.
episode
Yeah.
5 to where like things really start to like shake down. The police captain is, I don't know if he's invited or if he just knows that like there's this charity party that's going on, but one of his childhood friends, I don't know if they're best friends, but his childhood friend is also like head of the Klondike family.
Yeah.
And no, I can't even set this up because I forgot about episode. Was it episode 4 to where we get the Ace of Spades like cuts down the guy,
Yeah.
and then episode 5 is the
Yes.
guy is begging like I
Yeah, yeah.
like
So what happens? What Pete's trying to connect is in episode 4, when we meet the girl that works for the Pinocchio family that has the Ace of Spades. That's the crazy swordsman that gets possessed. One of the people they go up against, his name is John Doe, and he has the ability basically not to clone himself, like they're exact copies and they could die, but he has the ability
John Doe
basically.
is great.
Yeah, John Doe is great, but he basically has to duplicate himself up to four other duplicates. And so they're fighting him, and he's part of the Klondike family. Well, they end up beating him, and he passes out, and he loses his card to the Pinocchio family, and he's laying there, he's passed out, whatever. And so the police come and then arrest him. I come to find out he's part of the Pinocchio the Klondike family, and so he's in there like, look, I can't tell y'all nothing. They're gonna kill me anyway. They're gonna disown me anyway because I lost my card. And the captain there's a young female agent, detective in the police with the police that is like diehard, go like justice, justice, justice. Why are we letting all these people go? They're associated with these two families, but we keep letting them go. Like, what's going on? The captain's like, look, case is closed. Like, just leave it alone. Trust me, it's better if you just leave it alone because he's like, he obviously knows, and we don't know that he. At the point, like, there's stuff that happens in the previous episodes where the same thing happens, and we don't know that he knows all this stuff and is connected to them, but clearly he knows something. And so she's like, screw all that. Like, I'm diving deep head first in all this. I'm gonna figure out what's going on, and I'm gonna bring all these people to justice. So she goes in there to talk and interrogate John Doe, and is like, look, if you give us everything on the Klondike family, we will set you up and protect you. He's like,
Oh,
look,
she
the
used her
police.
talk no jutsu now.
All right, she definitely
Oh,
did.
and don't forget about the other guy that was in the room.
I know. I was gonna get to it because I had to go
Okay.
back like, oh,
Okay.
yo. And so that's setting up. And so, she's basically like, look, you give us what we need to know, and we'll protect you. And so he's like, you know what? All right, if you can guarantee my safety, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you who's this, who's that, the meetings, cash flow, all that. I'll give you everything I got. And obviously, this is a very important and strong family. They're not about to let this slide. They got people everywhere. And so, come to find out, there's another cop in the room with them in the interrogation. He's the one that took the female detective into there. And some stuff goes on. She's attacked. She arrests Finn. They're attacked. They're attacked by a Klondike member who has telepathy ability. Who's also,
Which
I believe, she's
Paul?
an ace.
Yes,
Go ahead.
she is as well.
I believe she's an ace.
Finn is so much where Tiger #1,
Yes, but
never.
better. Not better character wise, but better as not being so used. Like I feel like
Yeah,
where
he
Tiger,
held his weight.
like he didn't like grow strength wise. Like he kept being like he would grow and then get nerfed and grow and then get nerfed and like bro, you're not being useful. Versus Finn is actually like doing some stuff. So that was one thing I did like better about Finn.
And also what I will say again for the correlation really quickly is that I feel like just like with Bungo, we're not going to really know who's the main character because everybody gets like some type of shine
Yeah,
within this group. Like we know that Finn is ultimately the main character, just like we knew Were Tiger was pretty much ultimately the main character. But
yeah.
everybody gets like their top. This is Bungo, but go
This
ahead,
is
Joe.
Bungo, bro. This is Bungo, bro. Which made me honestly, I don't know if you guys if you guys have watched previous episodes and seen like we love Bungo. Like we absolutely love Bungo. For me, Bungo is basically number 5. It's Kate Attack on Titan on my top 5. Officially but unofficially. I gotta reevaluate everything for sure. It might even honestly be higher than 5. But really, really love Bungo. If you haven't watched it, go watch Bungo Stray Dogs, all 5 seasons. We flash to the charity event where the cop is in presence. Like the cop is there watching everything go on. And so the head of the Klondike comes in, there's a bunch of rich, wealthy people around or whatever for this charity event, and the Klondike family leader comes on the stage and starts a little speech and then talks about family, this, that, and the other, and talks about, speaking of which, I have some entertainment for you, and brings out John Doe. John Doe comes out with the bag on his head, and so you don't know who it is, but you like, oh dang, you know who it is
You
because
know who it is.
he was talking like, bro, they're gonna get me. Like you can't protect me. It don't matter who you are, you can't protect me. And so come to find out, it's John Doe. The person bringing John Doe out is the other cop that was in the room with the female detective that said they would put him in protective custody. And then basically Klondike kills John Doe on stage in front of
Pause.
everybody.
First of all, I am interested to see in pretty much how this relationship is going to play out with the guy who brought John Doe to the like is he going back to the police academy? Like it's like how is that going to work? Because I feel like the captain is going to allow it just so that he can kind of keep tabs.
No, he
Like
has to.
I don't like he has to because honestly he can't know what's going on and he's not going to tell the newbie what's going on. Eventually the newbie is going to find out
Right.
that so he's going to be in like the story for a little bit longer. So I can't wait to see how his character plays out. But bruh, Mr. Klondike kills this guy in the most gruesome way possible. Literally just has his neck turning slowly 360. Like, I mean, ever so slowly. Just
Bro, it's so brutal. Like the way
brutal.
they animate it too, like the way his neck looks, the color change in his neck and
Oozing,
face,
yeah, the purpleness.
crazy. To your point though, P, with the detective and the captain, I feel like the captain already knew that he was a part of the Klondike family. I already
You
knew
think
that he
so?
knew because remember when he showed up to the function, he was teasing the other Klondike members like he knew them. You know what I'm saying?
No, and I get that like he
So
knew
I
them,
think
but I'm just trying to figure out did he know that they planted a mole
I'm
within
sure, bro.
his
The way he's acting, I think he knew
but
because even when the detective came to tell the captain like, hey, this dude's from the Klondike family. He only wants to talk to you. He's like, he looked at him and looked at the girl detective was like, take her back there. Basically, like expose her to what's going on so she can understand like this ain't something she wants to mess with. That's what I think, and I could be wrong, but I feel like he knew. I feel like he knew what was going on with that dude, but maybe not. We'll see.
and I mean
Because he didn't seem shocked when he saw a dude on
that's what I was about to
stage.
say. He didn't seem shocked, but on top of that, to your point, to where he said he wanted to like pretty much put old girl in a room to let her know this isn't what she wants. On that ride home with him and her, it was kind of like he was like, okay, so you really want this life?
So you still want this? All right, here we
I,
go.
yeah, we like right, buckle up.
I love it, bro, because now he's got someone he can like because everybody else in the industry like knows like we don't mess with the Klondikes, we don't mess with Pinocchio family, and she's like, I don't care.
Yeah, you
Like
got
once I
somebody.
find something out,
Yeah.
it's in me that I can't let it go. That's pretty much it. We stopped at episode 5 because I didn't have time to watch episode 6 yet. We pretty much talked about it. P like this gives Bungo Stray Dog vibes. We obviously said we wanted to do these 2 shows originally, so we started watching them. And I was like 3 episodes in, and I'm like, P, bro. Do you still want to do both shows? We could just do Migi and Dali because I'm like this is like I heard great things about it, but I'm not rocking with it that much. Like it's cool. Like I
Yeah.
like the power system. I like the action. It's cool, but I'm not. Eh.
So two things made me hold out. We gonna have to have you on the show. Shouts out to O. He didn't say anything, but he was like, "High card. is like one of the ones that I have been waiting to drop. And I was like, oh, it's not finna steer me wrong.
Yeah,
Like, cause them
yeah,
first three, well, the first episode was okay.
yeah,
But even
yeah, yeah.
then, that first 3-4 minutes of like the beginning of them breaking into like the whole guy, like it was just like a lot of like shenanigans that like I didn't know what was going
It
on. I
was,
couldn't
it
place
was,
anything.
yeah, it was name dropping left and right. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
bro,
couldn't place
I gotta
nothing.
take notes on who's who so I know what's going on.
And then a month later, we go to an orphan. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
What is going on? But listen, episode 5 like turned that completely around. I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm in.
yeah. Absolutely. I can't wait, bro. I can't wait to continue. Like I'm mad that I didn't get the chance to watch 6, and we obviously got almost 20 episodes more to go from here. But yeah, the power system, and I was gonna say that too. Obviously, we talked about the power system itself. Even reminds me of Bungo Stray
Yo,
Dogs in a sense because it's so like there's so many different unique power. Like the girl who gets possessed by the sword reminds me, and I'm so bad with all the
of
names in Bungo. But the little girl who joins the detective agency
and then the
in
girl who
Bungo,
and then the lady who raised her also
exactly.
had the same thing. And even how the powers manifest. Like the colors, the like
Yes, bro.
when I tell you the money guy and is his name Francis from
Uh
Bungo?
oh, Francis. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
I was
Francis.
like, bruh,
Yes.
this is them.
Absolutely. It's a little bit different, but yes, exact same thing. Like Francis,
Motherfucker,
yeah,
yeah.
Francis would strengthen himself based on how much money he
Based on
spent. But
how
like
much he
this
can
dude,
spend.
yeah, but this kid, and I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but this guy can obviously then manifest whatever he needs from how much money he spends. And yeah, bro, it I'm curious. I want to do a deep dive to see if the author of this show took inspiration from Bungo. I don't know, like how much the different age gap between the two shows or what, or if he just happened to be like, nah, it's an original idea and it just happened to be similar.
I don't
But
know.
it's very Bungo esque.
Because at this point, I feel like Finn is fin to like find what's my like I feel like
Oh,
that's
is
coming.
Akagawa his like his
Akagawa, yeah,
yeah.
I feel like he's
He's
gonna
about to
find his Akagawa. Like I just,
yeah. For
which
those that
I'm
haven't
not
seen
mad
Bungo, sorry, for those that haven't seen Bungo, I'll let you finish. Octagawa is basically the main character's nemesis, like his counterpart on the other side of the wall in Bungo Stray Dogs.
it would be crazy if Marble Guy was going to be that guy, but I absolutely know that that's not going to be
Honest,
the case. But
honestly though, because of the way it happened when the police captain was like torturing, like taunting him a little bit,
yes,
he did
yes,
have a flashback to that situation, so I
yes,
can see that. I
had
honestly
the
can see that.
flashback, and not only that, but he is a hothead.
Yeah, and the way their abilities clashed when in the first episode. So the way they fought, and again, we said Finn beat the marble guy.
Yeah.
The marble guy shot a marble at Finn, and Finn basically marksman bullseyed it right down the middle of it, and then took him out. Obviously, didn't kill him, but took him out and made him pass out. And so I feel like that clash kind of like set us up for them two to kind of go back and forth a little bit. But we'll see. We never know.
Like
Yeah.
I said, I was with you, Joe. Like even when you was like, "Do you want to quit?" I like half of me was like, "Yes." Like let's drop this.
Jackie Jing was another person who told me it was good. And other than Eminence and Shadow, Jackie has not steered me wrong so far.
I'm
Which
still
I
gonna pick
promise.
that back up.
I know. I promise, Jack. Mike. I promise. I'm still gonna pick it back up. I'm gonna watch season 2. Even Anime News Network. I'm not Anime Noise. Anime Noise.
Oh, anime.
Anime Noise podcast. Anime News Network is
Shout out
Jackie. So
to
that's why I got
Anime Noise.
Anime Noise. They're back in business. Shout out to y'all. So excited to see that y'all back in business. I can't wait to see. They're doing. I think they're gonna be doing video podcasts now too, instead of just audio, which is great.
Dope.
They're an amazing podcast. If you haven't heard of them, haven't checked them out, please check them out. Anime Noise Podcast. Both P and I have both been on their podcast in the past, before we even started our own podcast, so it was great.
Wonderful people and great musicians.
Oh man,
Husband plays bass and wife plays violin. What's first chair? Nasty.
Classically trained too?
Hmm.
Crazy. I was gonna say they love anime. They do deep dives into anime soundtracks. I did Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood season 1 with them.
And I
I don't
did
remember
Attack
what you
on
did.
Titan. I did Attack
Yeah.
on Titan 1 and 2.
There you go. So they're amazing people, super fun, great content as well. They just started back up on Instagram, and they're coming out with their next season. I guess I'll call it a season for them, but they probably got some great stuff coming.
How many people do you think got the correlation with Bungo Stray Dogs? Like, it can't just be us, right?
No, it's definitely not just us. I mean, obviously you would have to have seen Bungo.
Yeah.
And obviously we just did an episode with Mel. She's like she watched the episode 1 where we talked about how I talked about Bungo would be a show that I recommend, and she's like, "Nah, I'm a gatekeeper of Bungo Stray Dogs." So actually, I want to recommend this to Mel now and see if she's watched it and see if she picked
And
up on the
don't
same
say a
thing as we
thing
did.
like I.
Yeah.
But and that, you know what? Sometimes I had to pat myself on the back because like the obvious was flipped through my mind, but like when I caught on to this, I was like, bruh.
Yeah, bro. And I think because we love Bungo so much, it
Yeah.
had to stick out to us eventually. I'm mad that it took me so long to get it, but once I realized, oh, police, mafia, and good guy organization, I'm like, oh yeah, this is Bungo, bro.
I think what got
And
me
the power
first,
systems and everything.
the power system, but specifically the guy who did Cash. I correlated
Oh yeah,
Francis off rip.
yeah, bro.
But
What's
then,
this?
like you
What's
said,
this
in
dude's name?
episode 5, when we got like the three, the police, the mafia, and the supposedly good guys, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, the kid's name is Leo.
Leo, I was gonna
Leo.
say
Yeah.
Lee. I knew his name
I
started
was
with
gonna say
L, but
Theo, honestly, but Leo. So Leo is the son of the Pinocchio family head, basically the president, and that's his ability, is the money ability.
which real quick, and then we gonna move on. But I am really like I can't wait to see Leo's and the father's relationship.
Oh yeah.
Because there's something going on with there, but also they are really keeping the father very shadowed.
Mysterious? Yeah,
Yeah,
very
and
mysterious. I
so
mean, both
I'm
of them. I can't wait to find out more, bro. I
like because
can't wait.
I'm almost like I feel like the good guys are going to be the bad guys as well,
Oh no,
and
for sure.
Ben is
It
going to have to make a like I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, you don't know, so it's not, you're not spoiling nothing. You don't know. There's definitely some shadows. Like there was shadows in Bungo Stray Dogs for the detective agency, but they were still, at the end of the day, they were still the good guys. Like it wasn't like anything crazy. Like, so people
Yeah,
obviously had their past. Dazai used to be part of the Port Mafia. Like, but at the end of the day, they were still the good guys. I feel like this is different. I feel like this is just two warring families, and they just happen to have a little bit better moral compass. The other part, the Klondike
that's
family
really
is
yeah
just like
that makes sense.
Klondike's like, I don't give a flip about what y'all say. We gonna murder everybody and get all our cards back. What would you give the show so far out of 10?
Really quickly before I do that, this also has like subtle
Go ahead.
Spy X Family like sprinkled all through this as well. As
Okay.
far as like what you call it going on missions, I feel like it's almost like a mission based type of thing to get cards to
Yeah.
where oh man, why am I blanking on Anya's dad's
Your
name?
for
Or
Lloyd.
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 I feel like it's very like mission based. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it's really like it's Spy S Family esque as well, but also definitely Bongo. What would I rate it? 1 out of 10? Jeez.
Taking episode 5 into consideration. Okay,
If I'm
how about this?
taking,
Hold on. How about this? Before episode 5, so episodes 1 through 4, and then after episode 5, what do you get? So 2 rankings.
okay, so before we get to episode 5, I legit would give it maybe a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
like it was just
I
very
yeah, I give it, and that's just because of me and powers and everything like that. Like just based off of how I am, and I feel like the powers were cool and unique. I would have gave it like a 6.
I'm
Like
not
6,
mad
like
at that.
at max. So okay. So now, what would you give it now that you have,
Bruh.
now that it's got you thinking?
Yo, like episode 5 legit jacked that mug up 2.5, maybe 3 points. Like I'm legit sitting solid at a 7.5 now.
Oh man. Okay. I'm probably giving it.
Possibly an 8, but I'm gonna be reserved and say a 7.5.
Okay, I'm going 8. I'm going 8 for me, because it's yeah, man. I feel like it could disappoint us, so I'm hoping it doesn't. But we also got basically a 24 episode season to figure this out. So I feel like they have enough leeway to do it right. And I don't think there's a season 2,
There is. So
but
there is a season 2. It just started in January.
Oh yeah, this about to. It has to be good, bro. It
So
has to.
let me tell you
It
let me
has
tell
to
you my
be. It has no choice but to be good,
let
bro.
me tell you my biggest worry. My biggest worry is that it's also going to follow like Spy X Family's type of pacing to where we're going to get like introduction, or like I don't want to call them filler episodes, but like mission storyline, mission
Yeah,
storyline. So I feel like we're only going to get like a few storylines
I
that's
hope
going to
not.
connect.
I hope not because I think that's one thing. I think that's one thing that Bungo did well,
Oh no,
to
absolutely.
where everything played a part in the story. Like every episode, like there were some that like weren't as heavy story wise, but what they really did do was flesh out the characters very well. It wasn't just like here's a new character or here are these characters. It fleshed out characters you knew and also introduced new characters and also progressed the story. Like
So
Bungo did that really well in my opinion.
So I think that's what's going to happen, but I don't think they're going to do it as well as Bungo. I honestly think they're going to like start to flesh out different characters. We're going to start getting maybe backgrounds, but gosh, man, I seen episode 6, Joe. I'm sorry, and
Oh my god! No, I know you did. I know you did. I know you did. I know you did. Leave it. Leave it. Because I don't know. Don't spoil me.
no,
I know I can
I'm
watch
not
six.
spoiling, but it went just back to like an introduction of a new two or three new characters.
Okay.
Um, and so I'm wondering, is like that going to be the pacing? And I think we'll
I hope
find out
so.
like after, like in the next like few episodes. But
I think
episode
by
6, I was
10 we'll
like,
have a good I
yeah,
think by 10 we'll have a good idea. Oh dang, P. I think it's still gonna be good. We're good. Yeah,
I
yeah.
do. I just don't want them to start like introducing like so many characters, because we still got like the Klondike family. Like there are still a few that we have not seen. Like we've seen them, but we haven't seen them.
And that's the thing. I think the Klondike family is a lot larger than similar to again. I know we keep talking about Bungo, but similar to Bungo, the detective agency was very small, select a group of people. And I feel like the Klondike family is similar to the Port Mafia, where it's a larger organization.
Right, and I feel like we saw the heavy hitters in the
Oh, for sure.
room. Like those
Uh
were them.
no, because even the lady that came out of nowhere, she was all like, all of a sudden we got this ace that's
But she
telepathy.
was in the room. She was in the room. She was in the room.
I guess we'll see. I guess
So
we'll
I
see.
feel like those are going to be, because even like with the Mafia, like there weren't
Yeah.
that many heavy hitters. I feel
No.
like this is going to be like Port Mafia but smaller version.
Okay. You've seen more than me, so I guess we'll see.
I've only
But
seen one episode, yeah, and here's the thing. Never mind.
sorry, P. I'm sorry. I'm to make you bite your tongue there a little bit. That's high card for us, man. We both enjoyed it. Apparently, gave it decent ratings. I think it has great potential. I'm curious to see where it goes. Obviously, if you guys have seen it, please don't spoil us. But let us know if you guys have seen it, if you enjoy it, and if we have something to look forward to, or if you don't enjoy it and you have some opinions that that isn't as great as we are hoping it to be. So yeah, this show. All right,
Weird.
this next show, yeah, just like P said, weird, but really good at the same time. Similar to High Card, episode 5 is where it picks up. I
Is
feel
that,
like
were you gonna drop it before? Like, were you having like those same feelings of like,
I
here we go?
because no, the thing is, it built better than High Card did,
Agreed.
but it still was giving me very comedy-ish type show, and that's what you told me. It
Really?
ain't really yeah, it was like I don't know how to say it,
And you know what? I
but
can't even be mad at it, because every like thing I looked at as far as
let's
like
explain first. Let's
genre
explain
wise.
first. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Let's explain first because y'all have no clue what we're talking about. Miggy and Dolly. So
me.
Miggy and Dali. Oh, okay. Actually, let me explain something a little bit first, and I have a question for Pete because I'm curious if Pete picked up on it, which I'm sure you probably did, but
I
I'm
might not
curious.
have.
Okay. So Miggy and Dali opens up. This old couple is visiting an orphanage yet again. We're at the orphanage, same as High Card, a little bit different, but opens up. This old couple's visiting an orphanage, and all these wonderful, cute kids are there. Everybody's happy. Everyone's excited, and they spend time with the kids. It's like, man, we'll be back tomorrow to decide which kid we want to adopt. They really want to have a kid. They walk out the door, wind blows, lady's hat flows off, and you see a kid grab the hat, catch the hat. He's sitting up in the window, and he smiles and says a couple things, and they're like, "We'll be back for it tomorrow." Instead of going to get the hat, I don't know why. That was weird to me. It's like, why not just get your damn hat back? But okay. So the kid keeps the hat. They come back tomorrow. I don't know if they come back. We don't even show. They don't even show that they came back tomorrow. It flashes forward 2 months. Yeah, 2 months later, it flashes forward, and this kid walks into their home. They don't go to get the kid. The kid walks into their home, and he walks in with no shoes on. So obviously the kid is the poor orphanage, whatever. I was like, that was interesting, but okay, cool, whatever. And they name the kid Hitori. They take him up to his room. They want to help him set up the room, and there's a bunch of boxes, so they help him open some boxes. And this dad, the new dad, I don't remember their names, the parents' names, but the new dad starts to walk towards his box. He's like, "Yo, I don't remember bringing this box up here." And so he heads toward it, and Hitori's like, "Can I?" He basically stops and like, "Hold on." But basically, there's another box, and he wants to open the room up by himself. Out of the box comes another Hitori. And I'm like, yo, hold on, what? Wait a second. So there's two of them. They're twins. They're identical twins, which is crazy. And so their actual names are Migi and Dali. They're 13 years old, and these dudes are weird. Like the way they move, they slither
weird.
out of tents, they crawl
They're
on the
weird.
floor. The positions they rest in are weird. Give me like L vibes as far as like how he sat in his chair. They kneel weird. So very interesting show. And as they're talking for the first time in the room, they like start drawing like an elaborate sketch of the house. I'm like, okay, they're clearly up to something, but I'm not sure what's going on. And they get like these evilish like grins on their face. You're like, okay, there's more to this obviously than what's going on. Obviously, one, you just snuck your twin. You didn't tell them you were twins, but you pretended you was just one of you and you snuck your twin. Like clearly you guys are up to something, some ulterior motive, whatever. But also the parents are weird. Very weird, which turned me off a little bit. And P warned me because he started before me, but they're weird.
I legit started to be like, oh yeah, we not finna finish this.
Yeah, like the dad obviously now has a son, so he's very emotional and like is happy to have a son. They're both parents are very happy to have Hitori. Like you can tell that they genuinely are excited and happy that they have him.
Massage.
But it's weird. So yeah, so one of the weird instances that happens is there's a massage that takes place.
Bro, like, what the hell?
And I'm like, yo. And the way the dad is like super enjoying the massage and like telling them to switch between like kneading and like hammering and kneading and hammering.
Are you finna argue? Like, what is going
Bro, yeah,
on?
he was like on, and I hate
He
to
was
give it to
in
him.
bliss.
He was on some Hisoka type vibes for a second
Like,
there.
legit.
But he wasn't looking at the sun. But once he was just honestly, truly, just genuinely happy.
And I think they try
that
to
he
do
had a
that.
moment.
I think they do that on purpose, like because you can tell, like he absolutely does not have those type of intentions.
Yeah, it's there.
But
It's
they
not,
make it like
yeah. And even later to a situation to where he like has always wanted to give his son a ride on his shoulders, which is like a typical dad thing, whatever, right? But to the point where the dad throws his back out and like can't carry his son, so it's just weird. And so the mom also has a like crazy temper. I forgot what happened. Oh, they were making cherry
it was the
pie.
cherry pie. Yeah,
It
it was
makes the cherry pie, and the mom was like super excited to make cherry pie with them because it's one of her favorite dishes to make, and she's really good at making it. And so she couldn't get the crossing right of the top of the pie, and she was like, and she just like flipped and started cursing. I was like, yo, she's crazy. And so she walks away and then comes back and then Migi or Dali, I don't remember which one did it, then made it perfectly, and she's like in love with the kid and the kid's so happy and yada yada yada, and they're putting on a show a front.
Oh yeah, real quick, what was the question?
Oh, okay. So now that everyone knows that there are twins in the story, can you tell the twins apart without them telling you who they are?
Yes.
How?
The only way I was able to now see for me, I had to like go like way, maybe not way, but like episode 3, like you can tell like they just have like very different not ideologies, but they have like very
Yeah, they're different. They're different people. They're
They're
still
different
twins, but they're
people.
different people. Yeah, yeah. So there's a physical way to tell them apart. I realized the first episode I realized
Oh,
it was
you
like
Joe, you know I won't finna get that.
yeah,
Let's go.
no,
You
no.
know I won't finna get that.
So when they're talking to each other, Dolly, who's also technically the older one. So there's Migi and Dolly. Dolly is the older brother. Migi
Yeah.
is the younger brother. Dolly has a slightly deeper voice than Migi, which is harder to tell, like unless you're like really listening to it. And
Okay.
then what you can really tell is their hair. So they have the exact same hairstyle,
Oh
but
my God.
but it's mirrored.
It
It's
is.
mirrored. So
It is.
for the
One like of the
older brother Dolly, his hair curls to the left, and
I
for
didn't
Migi, his hair curls to the right.
I didn't even think about that.
And
You're
so, and
absolutely right.
yeah, that's how you could tell them apart. So see if you, from now on, when you start watching, see if you can start telling them apart. Because it took me a second to like pinpoint it, but I was like, oh, their hairs are mirrored.
See,
Perfect, easy. Now I can
it got
tell.
to the point for me to like it was almost like when they spoke because like in around episode 3, like they really start to differentiate that you can tell like one is more immature than the other one.
Yeah,
And so like by episode 3, like I had just started knowing that's Dolly, that's Miggy.
Migi. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't talk about how the episode 1 started. That's what's throwing me off. Episode 1 starts before we get to the orphanage. Episode 1 starts with this dead lady on the ground clenching,
Oh yeah.
yes, clenching what I thought was like a necklace slash pendant. I don't know what you
Oh
thought it was. What did you think it was when you
yeah.
saw?
No, I thought it was a necklace.
Okay, so what appears to be a necklace, and it's got a snowflake on the little pendant of the necklace.
Very
So
important.
very important. And I'm like, I'm trying to
Very
remember where
important.
that is. So my bad, missed that part. And so now, put that in the beginning. All the stuff we said when now we meet Migi and Dolly, crazy parents. Episode 2 opens up with them being on this hill, and then you see, it's probably Dolly. I can't remember which one it was. It was probably Dolly. He's the older brother. Is holding that same pendant necklace thing, and so then you obviously make the assumption that that lady that died had to be someone important, probably their mother, and they buried their mother. And so what happened was the mom. They set the stage. The mom died in the same town that they now live in with these new people. And so that obviously is also a very important fact as well. I believe it's called Kobe Village or something like that. So it flash forwards back to 1890, which is 6 years back to the present. And more weird stuff continues to happen with the whole bath scene. The parents,
Okay.
yeah, and again, they mean well. There's
They
no like
do.
weird. There's no weird
Like there's no
intentions.
intent, like there's no malevolent like intent with these parents. But I'm like,
But there's like a weird bath scene where they force the kids to take a bath, and then like the mom walks in while the
what?
kids are in the bath, and obviously both of them are in the bath at this point. One has to hide under the water, which is apparently really really hot, but whatever. And so you don't see anything. She doesn't see anything. He's sitting in the tub, so everything's covered. But it's just like the way she did it was really weird, and then like was so excited about the pajamas that she was going to give them.
Is this
It,
also the episode of the bike scene?
I think that's yes, that's two. Yes, that's the end
Okay,
of the bike things. Yeah.
okay. Real quick.
Yeah.
So
Bugs that build it up. Build up the rest of the story with this
no,
episode.
no, no. I was just about to say no. Go ahead and tell the bike scene, and then I'll go ahead and talk.
So basically the parents are scheming to do something. We have no clue what it is.
Okay, stop. Never mind. I'll talk about it now. Listen, when I tell you I got Promised Neverland vibes, I was like, okay, like these
Yes.
are
Yes.
orphanage kids. Like, I don't know what these parents are that's finna adopt them. And then I get to episode 2 and they scheming. I'm like, oh, y'all finna do some heinous stuff. First of all, y'all already been weird. Like we don't know, like y'all have, malice or malicious intent. We don't know that as of yet because y'all are still being weird. And then episode 2 pops off, and now y'all are trying to scheme. I'm like, this is promised not like y'all are demons. Y'all finna eat these little kids.
The same thoughts we have, Migi and Dali have. They realize the parents are scheming something, and they're like, yo, what are they up to?
Take them out.
Like, the parents want to go on a little shopping trip or run some errands without them, and Migi's like, well, I think it's Migi at the time. Like, I want to come with you guys, and the parents like, no, 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 you stay here and do whatever. You stay here. We'll be right back. And so they do that. So while the parents are gone, Migi Dali's like, perfect. We can snoop around. So they snoop around, find some stuff, find a bunch of wigs hidden in there's a closet and there's a hidden room in the closet. So they find a bunch of wigs and they think that they are here to basically shave off all their hair and kill them, scalp them and kill them. And so, also another weird aspect, the dad has a book and it's titled, hold on, let me find it. Intimate Writings.
So
that's the title of his book, his little notepad journal.
So a couple of things. One, I absolutely love the fact that they did not know like what the wigs, because it shows like, yeah, they're smart as far as scheming wise, but are kids who have not been out of the real world or the orphanage. Like they really don't know nothing, and the story progresses to like where you really. Like they really don't know. They're smart kids, but they don't know.
They're not smart.
They're smart. They're not smart. They're not book smart.
Yeah.
Number two, this is Joe why now, like, cause as I reflect, I can see why this is like considered like dark humor, because there is like legit a lot of like just like crazy dark surreal type of humor / comedy.
Yeah.
Like even the readings, like that's.
Bro, this man wrote haiku poems about the massage. I wish I wrote them word for word. I could share them exactly with you guys, but it's crazy. About the massage, about the tree incident, and about them being in cute pajamas. This is what the dad wrote.
And so here's the thing, because in the mind of the watcher, we are still, again, not knowing that, they really ain't that bad, or they're not bad at all.
At least we don't know yet. There's something though.
We don't know. Like, but right now, y'all are heinous villains. Y'all done adopted these kids to do something terrible.
You're right. And so it progresses basically that they're throwing a party. Oh, they also have a dog. They have a pet dog. Which came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, out of nowhere in episode 2, there was a dog. There was no dog.
Because I would have thought we would have seen episode 1, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Cool. Let it pass. Let it slide. But the dog really likes the twins. Like, knows there's 2 of them and hasn't like snitched or barked at them. So they had the dog seems to love them, which actually plays a part later on. But
and again, and I'm sorry, just for the watcher, that just also like plays into the part, like these are very heinous people, because like now a dog who does not know these 2 are looking out for their best interest. Like I'm gonna pull you away. Don't go in that closet. Like don't go in there.
Well,
they're here. No, it was that they're here.
Yes.
Like they're finna, like they're pulling up. They're back. They're back at the house, and the dog was like, "Hey, yo."
Let's go. Get out. Yeah,
so it just builds to the fact like, yo, these are very heinous people.
They're throwing them a welcome party. Basically, welcome to the neighborhood, welcome to the family party with the neighbors. And so as the party is going on, the kids are like, all right, well, they're going to try and do this and embarrass us and scalp us and kill us, so we're going to kill them.
Before we get there, we meet some very interesting characters that start to set up. Is it during? Because I know if you was going to. Okay, go.
That's during the party. Yeah. No, I mean you can talk about it if you want.
But, no, I'm just saying like we meet some interesting characters that will set up the story for later, and like. Again, just not knowing. Like now, you're starting to think like this whole town has some issues.
So we meet some families, and one of the families will play a very important part later. I forgot their last name, but you meet the son named AG. There's a sister and a mother. You don't meet the dad, but there's a dad. I think the dad's probably just at work. The dad works a lot, I'm guessing. Meet them. The son is AG, who plays an important part. The mom does too. I can't remember her name. I actually think it's Rose. Is it Rose? Whatever. I'll talk about that later as we progress. There's another weird kid who's a Boy Scout who's really weird, who's into flag signaling. And then there's another kid who.
Oh no, you talking about? I was talking. No, the flag signaling guy wasn't that weird. I like
He's not, but he
but
gets.
he's
I
weird.
can't wait to see how he plays a part later on because he does. He's
But
definitely going
the
to. But the
other
bird,
dude,
there's a kid who is really into birds apparently, and Hitori. Part of Hitori's name means bird. I don't remember exactly what part it is, but like that was like a big thing for him, and everyone made fun of him. Like, oh, are you gonna be in love with Hitori because of the whole bird thing?
yeah.
But so meet those characters while Migi and Dahlia is planning to basically kill these parents in front of everybody.
No, and they were finna kill it. Like this
Like
was like
like
no joke.
legit finna kill them. And so they basically like I forgot how they did it, but they oiled them up some kind of way.
Well,
Um,
they got the mom drunk, and that was like the
yeah.
alcohol
Yeah.
portion.
They she's drinking wine and they drop 3 drops of hot sauce into her wine while hanging from the chandelier, which no one sees them somehow, some kind of way. And then she drinks, is like, ah, she cusses, freaks out, and it's
And
too
they
hot,
hand
too
her
hot.
another glass, and yeah, go
So
ahead.
yeah, Migi is there handing her a glass, like, here, mom, here's some water, and it's gin. It's not water, it's gin. A whole like a glass of water that you would chug to like cool yourself. She chugs the whole glass of gin. Here, mom, still hot, still hot. Here's another one. 3 times she drinks 3 glasses of gin. So she gets nice and frisky and drunk and loopy or whatever, and so they plan to basically set them on fire
And
with
right
a
because
magnifying glass.
the dad I forgot they gave him some type of oil to put in his hair or
Yeah.
something like that. So my thinking was the guess is that alcohol is flammable and the oil in his hair is flammable,
Yeah.
and I'm just finna set y'all
Like
ablaze.
literally they pictured themselves burning up and everybody watching them. But as the whole thing is progressing, I don't remember which twin it is because it's before I figured it out. And I think this was part of the reason how I figured out that you could tell the difference between the two twins is AG happened to be upstairs snooping and creeping around and
Crazy
happens to like
interaction.
sneak into the room. And so Dolly's like, "Hey, how you doing? You okay?" He's like, "Sorry, I was just looking for the bathroom, got lost." Like, okay,
Yeah.
no big deal. And as AG walks past Dolly, he like pauses and notices something and kind of like, that's suspicious. And you can see that on his face. And Dolly's like, "Is everything okay?" He's like, "No, yeah, everything's good. Just really like your hair." And I was like, "The hair. There has to be something with the
Oh,
hair."
that's really I didn't even
And
think about that.
because he was downstairs, he met, I believe it was Migi, who was downstairs with the parents, and then Dolly snuck upstairs to go do something.
Yeah.
And so while AG was already upstairs and ran into Dolly, he's like, something's off. I don't know if he ever finally figured it out or not, but or there may be another connection later, which we'll talk about in a second. But basically, a whole bunch of stuff happens. And they end up going to school. Well, before they go to school, they end up going to be Boy Scouts to make some friends because now their whole elaborate plan is we discover basically that their mom was murdered in this town.
And that was at the end of episode 2. That they
Yeah.
first of all, I think at the end of episode 2, or was it the end of episode 1, we found out what their true intentions was
Episode
that they
two.
wanted
Episode two.
to
Yeah,
okay, that
episode
they
two.
wanted to avenge their mom.
Yeah, so they had the desire to sneak out. Because they're like, okay, like Dolly's like, okay, let's go. He's like, me, he's like, where you want to go? And he's like, we're gonna go see mom, basically. So they want to climb out the window and go up to that hill where they buried their mother. So that's where we figured that out. And basically 3 is where we figure out they want to kill their mother, the murderer. But you get a flashback to 8 years ago, the beginning of episode 3, of them being kids playing and hiding under this bed and scribbling on this wall that has a specific, they called it water flea wallpaper. And so they're scribbling and tracing around stuff. And then their mom comes under the bed and you see her. You don't see her face, don't really show her face. And she's down there being very lovey-dovey and scribbling along with them. So you're like, okay, so that lady in the beginning was their mother. And basically, Migi and Dolly pulled her corpse from the middle of the city up to that hill and buried her, which is mind-blowing to me that they did that. Like, she's sitting there in blood and pulled her up and then buried her.
Nobody saw, but anyway,
Nobody saw, nobody said nothing, nobody did nothing. And the fact that these 2 kids did it without tear dropped,
And
which was
really
crazy.
quickly too, the wallpaper also becomes very, very, very
Yeah,
important, and
yeah.
specifically them drawing on the wallpaper also becomes very
Yeah,
important as well.
yeah. I feel like I'm taking too long, so I'm gonna speed up my explanation and skip some stuff. You guys can obviously watch and see it. So I'm sorry if you feel like I'm ruining it, the show, but or a high card, but
Oh, you're fine.
yeah. And so basically, we saw that we get to learn more about that. This is when I noticed that their hair was mirror each other. I wrote that down in my notes here. um, and so basically, they join the Boy Scouts, and they're like, "What we need to do is basically go around the house, go around and figure out where we can find this wallpaper that we scribbled on, because whoever was there has to know something about our mom. And so we need to get and basically go around, make a map of the entire city, and go into each house and find this wallpaper in our scribbles." Which I'm like, why would someone still leave it there after 6 years? Maybe they changed their wallpaper. But I get it. Okay, cool. I'll let it slide. It's part of the story. So they
But
join.
Joe, to their defense though,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
many
yeah. No,
times
no,
have
for
you
sure.
like? I
For
don't
sure,
think
no,
people
no, for sure, for sure.
take your
I'm not mad at
wallpaper like
them.
that.
I'm more mad at the writers than the kids. But I'm
I
not. It's not. But I'm not mad per se either.
no,
Really.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But so they join the Boy Scouts. Everyone knows they're adopted and
Orphan.
from an orphanage, because like they're basically the Boy Scouts for the city, and everyone in the city is like some high class uppity person, basically uppity family, and so they look down on them. They get bullied as they're trying to make friends, so they get invited to everyone's houses. Akiyama is the bird guy, the guy that's really obsessed with bird. Feels their pain because he got bullied for being a bird guy, so he's the first one that's like, "I'll be your friend." Like, yay! So that means we can come to your house. I'm like, bro, y'all are so weird.
I
Like,
mean, they
just like do it out
rip
there, like
though,
off rip. And
off
he's like,
rip.
yeah, yeah,
Man,
you guys can come to my
come
house.
on down.
Um, and so the next day they go to the house, and one of them, I believe it's Migi, gets to no Dali this
No,
time.
right? Because they
Dali,
switch.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like Migi's like, you always get to do all the yada yada. All right,
Hmm.
cool. I'll let you do it this time. So Dali then basically pretends to be Hitori and mingles and talks with Akiyama. And
This is when I
Akiyama,
found them apart.
this is when you found them apart.
When
Okay,
I
yeah.
found like
Yeah,
Migi,
yeah,
Migi
yeah, yeah.
likes
This is yeah,
girls.
yeah, yeah. So they go to the house. The brother is playing. The Akiyama is playing with Hitori Dali, and Migi is out there scouting the rooms and stuff like that. And they find a room with the water crescent wallpaper. And so he's like, yeah, it's the he has. I don't know if it's a big sister, but he has a sister. I believe she has to be big sister based on whatever. Like they made it very sexual. They made so she
They
was
did.
sleeping. She was sleeping in the room, and they made it very like the positioning, the camera angles. They made it very sexualized.
Where he
So
laid, like it was just
yeah.
very.
So he finds wallpaper, but can't find. He's snooping around, uses a lamp to look at the wall. Doesn't see the scribbles. So he's like, well, this can't be it because the scribbles obviously would be there, especially. And I would agree, the scribbles will probably be there if the wallpaper's still there. Cool. Gets caught by the sister while she's still sleeping and pulls the brother and pulls Migi in to basically cuddle with him while his face is then buried in her boobs and he
And he is
is
loving
happy.
every minute of it. Mickey, while back in the room,
Really? The bird, dude, Akiyama had put on this. He so much wanted to be a bird because he loved birds so much. He made a bird costume which don't look like a bird, put it on for Dolly, and like started doing this weird little dance thing and ends up embracing Dolly and hugging him, like is so happy that he has a friend
oh,
that understands how he feels about birds. And they kind of put side by side scenes to where Migi is embracing the sister while she sleeps and is facing the boobs, and Dolly's like, yo, what the is going on, while he's hugging the brother.
what I will say about these two brothers that I love is that, and it might be Migi more than anything, but when they see each other doing awkward stuff, like they are
Bro,
in stitches. Like they
bro, they
be
freak out.
laughing.
They be freaking out. Like literally ROFL, rolling on the floor laughing every time. Um, and so yeah, so that happens. They realize it's not the room, and then they, for whatever reason, go to Maruta's house, which is the other Boy Scout kid that really loves the flag signaling.
What, have they been to school yet?
No, not yet. This
Okay.
happens after this. School
Okay.
happens after this. So they go to Maruta's house basically, and come to find out, dude is evil. Like,
Oh, I hate this
straight
dude.
evil and a bully. And so this time, Migi wants to be the person that hangs out, and Dali goes and searches around. So Migi hangs out with Maruta. They play games. They do all sorts of stuff. They start to eat cake. Maruta steals his cake and then eats his own cake. They decide, he's like, talking about what they did in the orphanage and making fun of him. And he's like, well, we didn't have games like this in the orphanage because they were playing video games. He's like, oh, well, what did you guys do for fun? He's like, well, we played this game. Basically, it's the rock, paper, scissors game. And if you lose, you got to grab the hat and smack the person before they put a helmet or a pot on their head.
I got so eat.
Man, and so Maruta's like, well, since you played this so much, you should get a handicap. Obviously, just doing it to abuse. So he basically makes him tie up one of his hands, makes Migi tie up one of his hands. And basically, every time he wins, he just beats the crap out of him with his chancla. And is like almost bringing him to tears. But he's like, they had a whole conversation, Migi and Dali did, about like, look, we have to keep our composure. We have to focus on the goal. Don't let your emotions take over. Like, whatever happens, don't break. Like, don't break.
Dali said, F that.
Go ahead, Dali said that. Go ahead, talk about it. What happened?
Yo, Dali sneaks in the room, pulls Migi under the bed, and Dali appears out of nowhere. And Dali's like, all right, let's play a couple of more rounds. Go, Joe.
And so he's like, all right, look, we'll make it a little more interesting. The winner gets to make the loser do whatever they want. And so Maruta's like, perfect, because I've been winning every round. Bro, Dali obviously doesn't have the hand tied, wins so fast. And when I tell you, like, you know, in like action animes, like where like they slow down the impact, like emphasizes so much, like the face starts to change, you know what I'm saying? Like really like slow-mo impact. Bro, they did it so well with this. This man hit Maruta so hard with this shoe, bro. It was crazy and started beating the hell out of him because,
And
like,
that was what I love, because the slow impact was great, but then after the slow impact, it's just like da, 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 da. It's almost like if you've seen JoJo's, how what you call it, uda, 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 uda. It was like, I mean, he was going to work with the shoe.
it was so bad to the point where Migi stops down, like, look, yo, chill. Like, I'm okay. Remember, we have to keep our composure. And Migi is the emotional one, and Dali tends to be the older brother who's more like keeps his composure and stuff like that.
Rational,
so it's like, yeah, Dali was like, nah, bro, you're not about to beat on my little brother like that, basically, and went off, which was great. Loved it.
And homeboy like really was like scared, like
Yeah, it's like real scared. And so they don't tell us what he asked for, like what you have to do. But then it then flashes forward to them leaving the house and be like, thanks for having us. We really had a bunch of fun. And Maruta's like, yeah, I had a great time. Basically, like, you scared the shit out of me. But I got you. Like, I know not to mess with you, basically.
Yeah.
And I feel like he told them that the whole twin situation or whatever is like, look, you got to keep your mouth shut, and I need you to do X, Y, and Z, basically.
that's actually pretty good. That's
So
I didn't pick up on that. That actually might be it.
I mean, the thing is, it has to be something big because they didn't tell us what he told him he had to do, right? They go to school and they find out they're in class 1-5, which obviously is the lower class. They're orphans. They're new to school. They're coming into school after spring break, and so they're trying to get close to AG because they want to get invited to his house. I missed that. Okay, so they walk in. So they come home the next morning. After being, maybe he comes home or it's the next morning. The maid is at the house. There's a maid at the house talking to the mom, which is very important. So I can't skip this. And this is this random lady at the table, the maid, and she's talking bad about some other family, or whatever. Basically, gossiping about some other family walks in, and then they notice that he's there, and like, oh, hey. So they make the introduction. She seems really creepy. She gives me Promised Neverland vibes. The not the mom,
gives you like
the other babies.
What is her name? Crone.
Crone, yes. She gives me her vibes. Like, hey, yo, you a little too close to me. Hey, yo, you talking me to a little too funny.
What do you like about your mom? What do you like about your mom's cook? Like, she was just like,
yes, like, bro, like,
drilling questions.
Back the hell up. So that's how episode 3 ends, and episode 4 basically picks back up. They're starting school. Find out they're starting school
Oh,
tomorrow.
real quick.
But
Side, because we also find out, I forgot which one, but one of them can do a really good impression of their mom.
Migi
Miggy
can
can
do a
do a
really
really
good
good
impression.
impression.
Yes.
And so they pretty much kind of charaded as the mom, folding clothes out with the housekeeper. And so, of course, the housekeeper pretty much knows all of the layouts of all of the houses because she cleans pretty much everybody's house. So Migi dresses up as the mom and pretty much gets the maid to say that she's seen a house with that same type of paisley decorations or design.
Yep.
Uh,
Perfect. That's exactly how episode 4 opens up. And so then they find out that the where AG lives, basically Ichijo's, had the wallpaper. That's the name of the family that has the wallpaper that AG is a part of. And so they're like, all right, well, that's who we need to get close with. We need to get AG to invite us over to his house. So they start school. Which is funny because again, Migi being the younger brother gets the short end of the stick. So Dali hops on the bus and goes to school, while Migi then rides the bike they got from the welcome party to school and tries to chase the bus. It's hilarious. But come to find out that AG is in class 1-1, basically 1A, and is the class rep of his class.
if you've seen Classroom of the Elite,
Elite,
like
yeah,
he is in
yeah.
Class A.
Yeah, he's in class 1A. And so they're like, dang, we're in 1-5. We can't get to him. So they talk to him in the bathroom. And he's like, I think it's Dolly's like, hey, like, good to see you again. Yada, yada, while people are there. And AG looks at his collar, which has 1-5 on it. They have their classes on it. And he's like, I don't know you, never seen you before, and like walks away and like, oh, he don't mess with dumb folk. Okay, well we gotta get to class 1-1. The only way to do that is by getting better grades. And so they go through this whole thing, and Dali lies to Migi about some stuff to basically get him to get better grades.
Yeah,
I
we
know
won't even spoil.
I'm
Yeah,
skipping some
yeah.
details on that, but basically turns out they basically, and again, AG is the best kid in school, the smartest kid in school. He's the
Um,
class president, and so he got almost a perfect score. I think he missed like out of the 5 tests, he missed only 6 points on his test. The twins they got the test and they got the exact same score as AG. So he's like, hold on, what's going on here? All right. So they end up getting an invite to his house because of how smart they are and associated with him. And this is where, I know it sounded like a weird story so far, this is where this shit gets crazy.
this is where I was like, okay, what's going on with this writing?
And so they find out that they're gonna get invited. And before we find out they're gonna get invited, actually, I apologize. AG is going through all the classrooms and like taking notes
Oh
up if he sees
yeah,
anything
yeah.
weird. And so he goes to one desk, so and so's name, nothing out of the ordinary. So and so's name, nothing out of the ordinary. And then he gets to Hitori's desk, Hitori whatever, something unusual. And
Unusual, yeah.
he finds the necklace, the ice with the ice snowflake on it, and it's like feeling some type of way about it. Clearly, he knows something. So, like, okay, we're about to get some information on someone who knows something about his mom. It's like, all right, so this is probably the house that they need to go to and check out. And so they get invited. Yada yada. The whole family goes over to the Ichijo house, and Migi is basically the one that's pretending to be Hitori, while Dali snoops around, which I think is a good makes sense, right? And so, come to find out, the necklace is not a necklace; it's a button. And once I looked at it and found out, I'm like, bro, how did I
Yeah, I
not
was
see it was a
like,
button?
yeah,
It's got 2 holes in it.
it's got
It's a
two
button.
holes.
It's got 2 holes in it. It's a button. It's a button, and it's a button to one of AG's pajamas. And I'm like, this is weird, but okay. So one of y'all fools killed the mom. And so the dinner was they had him over for dinner. It was a whole setup basically, and it gets really weird. We'll leave it for them to figure out how they do the whole thing. Basically, Migi basically admits that he stole the button. He has the button. Lies about why he stole it, but says he stole the button.
Nevertheless,
They also have a dog, which plays somewhat of an important factor later. And basically, the mom is like, "What have you guys been teaching this kid since he's been here?" And basically, like, "All right, well,
and
since
pretty
you
much
got kidnaps him."
I was about
Go
to say
ahead.
pretty much before we pretty much threatens them and say,
Yes,
if the orphanage finds out about this, like you
you'll
will lose
never.
your kids. But on the flip side, let's come up with a deal. It's pretty much how about you let me keep your son and to pretty much teach him like some corrections, like he needs to be corrected on a couple of things.
Yeah.
Pause number one. First of all, this is where the writing is like crazy because as a parent. I don't give two craps who you tell. You're
Call
not finna
somebody.
sit up here and call them.
Call him. I'll call him for
Call
you.
them.
I literally be like, here you go. Call him. Use my phone.
I was like,
Here you
you're
go.
not finna, you're not,
Hell no.
but I was like, all right, cool. It's the writing. Like, I'm gonna leave it.
They agree, and Migi ends up having to stay at this house, and Dolly pretty much stays there too, obviously, because he can't go back to the house because then someone's there. So they both end up staying. And basically, the mom says to Migi, "You'll grow up and become AG," and I'm like, "Yo,
But
what?"
this is where
Like
it,
become AG. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, so have you done this before to other people? Is AG someone else's kid that
is
you
the,
took and
is
you
the
did it to
daughter
him? Is
somebody's
the daughter
kid?
someone else's kid? Because then, so before we get to there, then they basically lock Migi in a room. They're feeding Migi dog food,
Dog food.
and they got Migi in a diaper like he's a baby in a crib. Bro, this show is so wild, bro.
Meanwhile, like
And
his brother
with the pacifier
with the
in his mouth.
pacifier. First of all, they're in the room and he sees the
Wallpaper.
design, the Paisley design. Not only does he see the Paisley design, but he also sees the scribbles that he wrote, that him and his brother wrote, and like very very somber, very sad moment. But all he could do was like holler and cry, and like he is hollering mom, like that's it, like this, like I said, the anime is weird, but that was one of the moments I was like, dang, like dude is hurting.
The whole purpose of them locking him in his room is to recondition him to start from a
Recondition, that's the
baby.
word.
They
That's the
start him
word.
from a baby and grow him up to be back to his age where he's at now. So like they treat him like a baby, make him act like a baby when he's not acting the appropriate age that they're trying to get him to be at that time, like not acting like an appropriate toddler. The mom scolds him and gets mad and then doesn't whatever. Like,
Did you see what mom was like? You're trying too hard.
yeah, bro. Like what you mean? I'm trying too hard. What?
This is this, and again, this is what was hilarious to me because Miggy is like, "Oh, am I trying too hard? Fine, then I'll be the best actor I
Bro,
could." And he goes through this montage of being like the perfect baby. Meanwhile, Dolly is on the other end, sees what is going on, and is cracking
dying.
up, like
He's like sad
dying.
and mad at the situation, but he can't help but laugh when he sees Migi acting the way he's acting, bro.
Yeah.
Like you can yeah, bro, it's so funny. And so all of a sudden, while I believe it's a Wednesday, so no one's supposed to be on Wednesday. So Dolly's like, all right, I'm scouring everywhere, and all of a sudden, someone sneaks up behind Dolly and like covers his eyes, and he's like, oh, I'm screwed. And I'm like, dang, what's about to happen? It's the maid, Michan. And she's like, oh, I heard exactly what was happening to you. Your parents told me they're very, very sad.
I'm a
Um,
fan. I'm a
she's dope,
fan.
bro. She's
I'm
so
a
dope.
fan.
And so basically, because we learned that I thought that she said that she doesn't gossip with anybody else. Like she told the mom, Migi and Dolly's mom that. And I'm like, nah, you just talking. But it comes to find out, like, legitimately, the only people she tells all the gossip to is Migi's mom.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm like, oh, so she out here getting dirt on everybody. She's like, no one has dirt on the Ichijo
On
family,
Yep.
and no one's supposed to go. I'm not allowed to go clean up upstairs. And so she won't, but Migi, so they end up working together basically. And Migi's like, all right, well, I'll create a mess that you just can't happen to not go up here and do it. So basically, they end up
And she's
sneaking
like,
around the house.
hell yeah.
Yeah. They find a picture of a family picture basically, and there's a reflection of their mom in the picture. And so Dolly's like, "Hey, do you know who this lady was?" Like, it looks like the housekeeper, but the Ichijos have always said they don't want a housekeeper under
Mm-hmm.
50. And so obviously the mom is not 50, she's a young lady. And so basically they discover this attic, this secret attic, this is where it really gets crazy.
It gets weird.
They find a diorama of the entire city. Not only is it just like a diorama where it has everyone's houses, it has a doll of every single person in the family in the house. Not only that, Mi-chan, the maid, doesn't even live in the city, and
Does not.
she has a doll in the Ichijo house. And it has like the identical rooms and everything. So then it triggered to me, okay, so when AG was snooping around, he was checking out the house to then add or update the diorama of
Yeah, I got the same.
Migi
I
and
got the same
Dali's
thing. Yep, yep,
house. I'm like,
yep, yep, yep.
oh snap. And not only that, they have data and information on every single individual in the city. I'm like, yo, what is
And I
going
think
on?
at this point, I'm like, okay, somebody in this house has done something. I
Yeah.
don't know what. I don't know if they have ties to who killed the mom. I don't know if they killed the mom, but somebody got some type of information within this house, which of course, like they found the paisley, they found the markings, but like now, like we get a diorama, we get like dolls and figures of people who actually live in the house or in these
Yeah.
houses. Like somebody has done something.
And so to clarify too, I don't think we said it. The room that had the paisley walls that Migi was in is like a locked, hidden room. Like,
Right.
and so they basically were being held captive when they were younger, and so was the mom. Like the mom was being held captive in this room in this house. As they're snooping around and finding all this stuff, someone comes to the house. And so the ladder to the attic is still open. The doors are probably still open. So someone knows that someone's up there, right? So this is where I love the maid. Like this is where she became a real MVP of the show.
Bruh.
She tells, "Hey yo, you hide and
Go
don't
hide.
come out. Go hide. Don't come out until you hear nothing. Until it's silent." She's like, "And don't worry." I forgot what she said. She's like, you can always count on me to clean up.
Yeah, something
Basically,
like that.
she's like,
Yeah.
so basically, like, I'll be fine. Don't worry. Like, I'll handle this. I'll clean up. I'll make sure it's all good.
I hope they ain't kill her off.
Man. And so, what makes you think they might have is after some time passes, Dolly finally climbs out of the box that he's heading in, comes out. There's no one there, and what he finds on the floor is
Yep.
the doll of the maid decapitated on the floor,
Yep.
and that's how the episode ends. Which is crazy,
Yep.
bro. This
I was like,
show's
y'all
so
didn't kill this
crazy.
lady off, man.
I mentioned the dog being important. The Ichijos also have a dog, and so the dog was guarding the room to where Migi is hidden, but the dog likes Dolly, and so the dog has been a friend to Dolly, played with Dolly. Episode 6 starts with Dolly having not eaten anything, very hardly anything, so he's really hungry. The dog literally hands Dolly. The dog hands Dolly
Dog
his
food.
bowl of
His
food.
bowl of
Yeah.
food.
And he's like, "Oh, yo, like we're friends. I don't know how they eating this dog food, but they eating dog food. I guess grew up in an
Hey,
orphanage.
I
They
heard.
it
I
is
heard
what
when
it
you
is.
hungry.
You hungry?"
When you hungry, you hungry.
And so this last episode, basically, Migi's putting on this act or whatever still to basically get it
There were a lot of weird things.
to the point where they don't show it, but they hint at it that the Ichijo mom, changes Migi's diaper.
Oh no, that absolutely happened.
They don't show it, but that's what they
No,
hinted
that,
at.
that
I'm like,
absolutely
bro.
happened.
They eventually let Migi out of the room because Migi has grown up enough to be this toddler that can then now
I think
basically
5 years old now. I think he's
he's
like that's
5,
supposed to
yeah.
be 5.
This whole situation happens. He's basically eating at the table with everyone, and tries to be a part of the family. The sister's like, "So how old are you?" Basically, like, "I know what's going on. So how old are you now in your progression of being reconditioned?" It's like, "I'm 5," and like acting like a kid,
Again, just
which is
pretty
crazy.
much just solidified. Now this solidifies it to me, and it may not be both of them, but somebody does not belong in this house. For
Yeah,
you guys to just like automatically go like
I don't
about
think
this
either of them
and
do.
do this, like somebody don't belong here.
Yeah, I don't think either of them do.
See, I don't know because I honestly feel like the son, like they have more of an interaction with the son than they do the daughter. Like I just feel like the daughter
But
is
the
there
son
and
and
there's
daughter have
no.
but the son and daughter have interactions too. Like
They do,
after what happens next in the
but they
story.
do. But I wonder, like, when did they get? If that's the case, when did they get the daughter? And was the daughter like young enough to where like AG just thought that like that was going to be
Yeah,
his sister and
I
they
I
like
have
they
no
didn't
clue.
know because I feel like the mom just like they don't have that same connect or the mom doesn't have that same connection to the daughter like she does with AG.
There's something funky with this family we don't know, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens at the table which we won't get into basically. But we find out that they're weirder and weirder and weirder. AG is really weird and has some issues, but they figure out basically like, okay, well, we know that this is the case and we know what my mom looks like now because of the picture. So Dali goes back to the house his adopted house, gets some wigs from his mom's room, and they pretend to be the ghost of their mother, their dead mother. And they go around the house basically talking to all the people. So they go to the dad first, and
Paul, what in the hell is going on? Because like again, this is a ghost. Like, and this is a ghost of somebody that you know has died, has passed. And instead of the dad getting scared or being like, what's going on? He embraces the quote unquote like hugs her. I haven't seen you in so long. Where you been? Was there an affair? Did the mom get
I
upset?
So I think there might have been some between the dad, but we got to figure out who this girl is first. But based on what happened with the dad and the same interaction with the mom, neither of them killed her or knew she was dead. They just thought she ran away.
The mom, no, I agree because the mom absolutely did not think
She,
that
she was
she was
dead.
dead.
They go to the dad. The dad's like, "Oh my god, I missed you." Yada
Like,
yada
where
yada.
are you
And then
hiding her? Like, where you been
exactly.
hiding her?
And so then they go, and then the boys escape out the room, and then the dad can't find them. And then they go to the mom, whose name is Metri. We learned that the mom's name is Metri. So they go to the mom, and the mom freaks, like she's laying in bed asleep, and they basically wake her up and like freak her out to where she like screeches,
That was great.
like absolutely screeches. So they're like, "Oh, we got her." Like she act like she saw a ghost. The dad didn't act like he saw a ghost. He's like, "Oh, where have you been?" The mom actually saw a ghost. And then the mom switches up and is like, "Oh, so you finally came to steal it back." And I'm like,
Still,
"Wait,
what
what?
back?
Say what? Wait, hold on. What happened? What's going on?" And I now thinking about that, I now have some thoughts on what steal back. But I'll save that for later. So the mom then runs out the room and goes and gets scissors to then try and basically stab her.
That person.
Basically, she knows, so she doesn't think that the mom is dead. We figure out the mom's name, the dead mom's name. Her name is Rose. Then the dad and mom run into each other, and she's like, "Did you see? Did you see Rose? Where have you been hiding her? Where is she?" Yada yada, like freaking out. Like I don't know what's going
It's
on.
like what?
Try to kill her basically, and then they escape out. And then as they run out of escape. They're trying to get Migi back into the room because they're like, oh, so before this whole thing happens, they say that Migi can go home tomorrow, but it's so late. Just stay the night and
Just
you can
stay
go
the night,
home.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they unlock the door. Like that's how they got out. You can unlock the door.
Ah,
Oh, and a weird thing she says, enjoy our neighborhood's hospitality. And I'm like, I don't like that. That was said before all this. So that happened before, and then the whole dad thing happened, mom thing happened, and now they're trying to get back into the room. The dog's there, but Dolly's like, don't worry, I can handle the dog. So he's trying to get the dog to come play and hang out over here so that Migi can go back into the room. As Migi's trying to go back to the room and Dolly's on the other side of the counter, and the kitchen counter, AG walks out because AG's like, Mom and Dad told me to stay in, but something's going on. I'm gonna just go out anyway.
right, because he was
And
talking to his sister. His sister
he's
was
talking
pretty
to
much
his like,
saying, "Hey,
you're not
yo,
supposed to go
mom
out.
told us like don't go nowhere." And he was like, "So
Like
what happens if
if
something
something
happens to
happens,
mom?" And he was
yeah.
like, "I'ma go."
And then he runs into Migi dressed as Rose, and he does something. I'm not gonna say what he does because it plays a part in something I didn't say before. But he does something that like connects to what happened earlier in that episode and the previous episode,
And
and
this is
freaks out
and
and is like,
this
yeah, this is where it's a ghost. It's a ghost and screams and runs
boom,
away.
gotcha, buddy.
So the only person that knows she's dead is
She's
you.
dead as you.
We don't know about the sister. The sister is too young to where she wouldn't have been old enough to kill the mom
That's
because she would have
my
been like a
thinking.
toddler or whatever. So the sister couldn't have done it. She may know something about it, but she couldn't have been the one to kill
But AG is
the
now
mom.
like 13, 14. So if that's
Yeah,
the
so he
case
could
and
have
it's
been
been that
nine,
long
10 year
ago, he
old.
could right.
Yeah. It was 6 years ago. And yeah, that's how that ends. And then we've transitioned back to the house all of a sudden. They like leave and go home. AG won't come out of his bed. He's stuck under the covers in his bed, and his sister's trying to get him out.
Depressed.
And then Migi and Dahlia return home. For some odd reason, Bird Boy is there at the table eating with them.
Yeah, like I've been waiting for your return. Like I don't know.
Yeah, a little weird. So we'll see what happens with
weird.
that. But Migi Dali is like extremely distressed and figuring out what happened. He's curled up in a ball, looks sick, in bed. Migi's downstairs eating with the family. And a very sentimental moment that I really enjoyed this season, this episode ending with, was Miggy is fine and healthy, and all of a sudden they're eating, and he's like missing his brother and understands his brother's not feeling well, and so their whole thing this whole time, if you remember, like they want to kill these parents, these new parents of theirs, but they're realizing that these parents do truly actually care about them.
Yeah.
And so to get Dolly some love and attention and affection, because he's been putting a lot in, right? He's the one that's been staying cool, calm, and collected while Miggy has been expressing his emotions a little bit. He decides runs upstairs like, oh, I don't feel good, I feel sick. Runs upstairs, runs to the room, and then the parents come, pretends to be sick and lay in bed, but it's actually Dallas laying in bed, and then the parents cuddle and give some love
And two,
to Dolly.
I think Dolly was more sick than anything too, is because Miggy was being fed.
That's true. That
I
too.
feel like this was more so like I'm like kind of hungry. I'm kind of weak. I've been eating dog food because I am
Yeah,
like malnourished and
yeah.
like I need and I just saw like a couple of things like him like wanting to eat like things like that. I just feel like yeah he was sick, but more so like it's probably not only like emotional but also like I don't have any energy. Like I haven't been eating. I'm tired. I've been doing all of this moving with probably eating like half of the dog's dog food.
I have some thoughts on what I think is what they're coming. Some story plots that I'm waiting. Some twists in the story that I think is going to come. If you got anything, P, you can say it, and then we'll wrap this episode up. Um, I think that the dad is Migi and Dolly's parent. Migi and Dolly's dad, the Ichijo dad, had an affair with Rose, and that the twins are his
I agree with
because
that.
we don't know anybody else. But also, I feel like Rose might also be the mom of AG. And
See,
AG didn't know and found out and was mad, or it's either that or they had an affair and AG was mad that they had an affair and got in between the parents and then killed Rose.
I'm thinking the opposite. I am thinking that the mom is the parent to the daughter, and AG found out and killed the mom.
Not okay. I'll give you that. I can give you that.
Because I guess for me, like for her, like I'm just trying to figure out what is her stake in this. Because right
Yeah.
now we know, at least in our mind, that AG did kill the
Yeah.
mom. For
From what we
what
understand,
reason
AG
we
killed the
don't
mom.
know. And so the only other reason that I would just have her in the story now, if that's the real daughter, then cool. I just don't think one of them, if not both of them, are not
Yeah.
the mom's top.
Metrius,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm thinking, like you said, it's either what you said or it's what I said. But I feel like I don't know.
This show has been crazy. Absolutely crazy. And similar, like I said, with Hypercut, they both pick up at episode 5. Both have been really good shows. Oh, and then I guess P, what would you rate
You
Migi and
go first.
Dolly?
You go first. I did first. Go ahead, you go first.
Okay, all right. I would give Migi and Dolly a 7. Um, it's it's got the suspense, it's got the now a little thrill aspect, and it's got a good little bit of dark comedy in there as well. I think it's about to transition, like you were telling me before. It's about to transition to just kind of just being purely suspense, thriller, dark kind of show. It's not my normal cup of tea, but I am enjoying it, so I'm gonna give it a 7.
And not only that, but the reason why I say is because we only got 13 episodes, so they're really gonna have to start like
Something's gotta happen,
fast-pacing
yeah.
this. Like they got to start like wrapping this up.
We're basically halfway through, and we figure
Yeah.
out some stuff. Now we gotta, you know, add to this. We gotta add on top of this and finalize the story. So
Once they find out who killed their mom, like they really finna get up at the AG. Like they really finna
hey, this
they finna
hey,
air it
bro.
out for him, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
something about to happen.
I would give it again a 7.75. The writing sometimes was like, y'all could have done a little bit better. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
But overall, like suspense thriller is like down my alley. So
Yeah, exactly.
like
This is up your alley.
and like I said, both of like you said, both of them had one episode that like turned it from being like okay to like invested.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So we'll see where these shows pick up from where we left off. But yeah, that's pretty much all we had. Guys, let us know what you think of how we've done this. If you guys enjoy this, how we do this episode, as far as this kind of content, and us talking about the shows. If you have suggestions, like we talked about it too much, we didn't leave it to you guys to watch and come back and be a part of it, or you guys are watching it with us, whatever it is, like let us know what you guys think. Would greatly appreciate that. So with that, appreciate you guys sticking around with us, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
peace.